Life leading up to the Rose was full of trauma and grief and abuse and addiction. I was just existing. I didn't really feel like living. I had nothing to live for. I felt the loss of hope on the streets of, how did I get here? Where am I going? Like, what do I even hope for? I found myself through all those trials. It led me to becoming homeless, losing a lot of relationships, my son, a family, and most of all, I had moved so far away from God that it was lonely, it was hopeless, and it was scary. I felt alone, just because I had lost all my relationships and all my, belongings. And so I felt definitely alone and, again, just hopeless. Like I didn't know what was happening. I felt like I was just not wanting to live. I used to go to the living room in the day to nap and take a shower and stuff. And there was a guest there that told me that the Rose had some beds available. And so I didn't know what that meant. After a few days of just continuing to wake up under the freeway, the friend that I was kind of tagging along with on the street showed me where it was. I said, where is this Redwood Gospel Mission? Like, how do I? And so she walked me to the mission, and I stood out there till 11 when intakes were going to be done, and they had 4 beds available that day. I can't keep living on the street, and so wherever this place is, just take me. And at that point is when my trust in God started kicking in, like, okay, like you've led me here. The moment I stepped off the van, I felt God put the breath back into me. And I just knew that wherever this place was, that God had brought me here and I was safe. A lot of stuff just lifted up off of me. And I can't explain it, but it was just a peace that came.
It's really difficult when people come from the street, and I can speak from a place of experience. You're in survival mode, and oftentimes you feel like everyone else is the other team, right? And it's just kind of you against the world. So when you come into a place and you feel safe, you're able to let your guard down. You start to appreciate and enjoy the people that are around you. You trust that environment. You start to hope for new things, and you stretch and reach for new things. You attempt new things, and that's how transformation begins. So we've got our 30-day shelter program. So women that are in need of housing are able to come and stay for up to 30 days while they work on their next steps. We also have our transitional savings program. So for instance, if a woman comes in and she's working full-time, or if she comes in and gets a job while she's staying with us, they can apply for our savings program. Women are able to stay for up to 6 months. We assess each month to make sure that a couple things are happening. One, that they're saving 80% of their income, that they are going to church every week and engaged with a church mentor, and basically just kind of following the guidelines of the Rose and stuff. And then each month, if they're following all of those steps, then they're able to stay for up to 6 months.
After being in the Rose and having a bed and a shower and just this community of women, not just who were also in the shelter, but the volunteers coming in to help. When they see something in you and they're speaking it and you still don't believe it, but it starts planting seeds, and you slowly start seeing yourself as these people are saying. And that's what happened. I started just pressing into God and the Word, and it just brought me back to life.
It's funny because I never planned anything to ever come here. It was just like this path that I went down. I started seeing people on the streets and stuff, and would just cry for them. So it's no coincidence that I'm here. Just the Lord kind of brought me here. So what I tell them when I come here is it's actually the funnest thing that I do. They're my people. They are my people.
On the same property as the Rose, we have our New Life Recovery Program, the Manna Home. That is a 12 to 18 month program for women who are ready to transform their lives. Anybody that has life controlling issues, such as drug addiction or broken relationships, they're able to transfer from the Rose over to the Manna Home and begin their new life.
As I continue to press into the Word, and I realized that Manna Home would allow me to heal from what caused me to get to where I was at.
I have seen women come from the Rose over to Manna Home, and I try to follow them actually through their process, because I also do coaching over here. So I'm always, if I pick somebody up for church or Bibles, whatever it is, I like to come in and, continue that relationship as well.
Transformation at the Rose is something that is beautiful to witness. When I see someone coming in shut down, guarded, maybe not trusting, they're kind of keeping to themselves, and then as time goes on, they're starting to make friends. I can hear people joking and laughing together. I can hear them offering rides, making commitments to go to church together. And so it's when that light starts to come back, in their eyes, and you can tell that they're starting to hope again and they're starting to trust.
Transformation, it went from just this paranoid, not trusting anybody, isolating, wanting to stay to myself person, to beginning to, spend time with the women in there, and laughter, and just, it started opening up my heart to where I feel like the Holy Spirit was allowed to, was coming in. And it was through that community, us being able to cook our meals together and sit together and pray together and do Bible studies and prepare for what God had for me next, which I didn't even know.
I think that hope, trust, dignity, those things are essential at the beginning of transformation. You are not going to be at a place where you're able to transform until you have discovered that there's some reason to hope, that you feel worth even making the attempt, right? Till you trust the process, you trust the people that you're in community with.
Being on the streets, I lost all my dignity when I lost everything, when not being able to use the bathroom when you need to, or asking somebody for money to get food. Being in a place of vulnerability, it tarnishes your dignity. At that point, it's like shame. Dignity at the Rose was complete opposite. It was, you have a place to shower, you are responsible for your area and helping to clean the house, and it looks like order. It looks like, Bible studies, and so that order brings a sense of accomplishment, like I'm doing something now, and so it definitely gives you some of your dignity back.
When someone realizes they're in a safe space, they're able to start trusting again, and it's little things like asking for help, or even just kind of sitting down and watching TV together, like being vulnerable like that. It's not something that we're accustomed to.
Rebuilding trust is a big one, because when you're out on the streets, you can't trust anybody. And so I think my trust started at the intake, and then it just showed to be true that I was trusting the right, because when I came here again, I felt God's love. And so it helped me to just kind of remove that hard exterior where it's like I can't trust anyone, to believing that these people are here to help me, to love on me, to make me feel as comfortable and loved as possible.
Another thing that I hear quite often, especially from women that do know the Lord, they know that the presence of God is here. And so I hear that a lot, actually, that God definitely is here and it's peaceful.
Hope at the Rose is a major part in what helped change my life. Those seeds start being planted and your heart starts moving, and you start seeing this hope of getting some kind of life back.
Transformation begins with community because it takes a village, right? When you're coming in here not on a winning streak, there's a lot of things that you need to begin to do. You need to begin to ask for help. You need to begin to search for resources. You need to learn how to do things a different way. And so that's what you're going to witness here, because you're going to have people who are coming in and bringing in Bible studies. You're going to have people that are talking to you about resources in the community. Maybe you're getting together with other ladies at the shelter and you're carpooling to different things.
Community at the Rose looks like eating together, laughing together, praying together, crying together, just building relationships with strangers, which, on the streets, again, that's hard. But when you're in the walls of the Rose, it's made easy because it's a home.
Volunteers are absolutely essential. Volunteers are the reason that we're here. We're here as a platform for volunteers, for the body of Christ, to come and minister to those women who are in need so that lives can be transformed.
I think the volunteers were a big part of softening my heart to start receiving and wanting to get into the Word. Because the first of the volunteers started for me at Bible studies. My coach, I met her in Bible study. My mentor, I met her at Bible study in the Rose. These people were speaking life into me. God was using them to bring me out of whatever I was in. They were praying for me even when I didn't know.
I've led many women to the Lord being here. Sometimes we can be in circumstances in our life where Jesus is our only hope, and I believe it's Jesus. Jesus is the hope here for sure.
I feel like my life was revived. My life was transformed by the power of prayer, by the power of community, by the power of hope, by the restoration of my dignity. I graduated from Manahome in October 2020. My life has been nothing short of amazing. I began working at Redwood Gospel Mission. No matter what my situation now, that joy is just planted inside of me. And I feel like that joy was introduced to me through Manahome and through the volunteers. And again, all these women praying over me and with me and speaking life into me. It really just set me free from the bondage that got me to that point.